Good morning, everybody. You're mostly welcome to our professional online session on the accessibility of audit reports to the public and stakeholders. I would like to welcome our dear colleagues that will deliver their messages. Ms. Hilde Francois, Senior President of the Belgian Court of Audit, Ms. Soteria, President of the Hellenic Court of Audit, and Mr. Ivan Klesic, Auditor General of Croatia. I will start by presenting my presentation, then it will be followed by an interview of our distinguished lecturers, and then we will leave at the end of this online session sometimes from questions from the audience. So please do not hesitate to send us any questions or raise your hand so we will be able to refer to it later on. I will now start by sharing with you my presentation. So I do think that as state auditors, we are accountable to the public, and both, of course, to public and both other stakeholders. Many of us are reporting to our parliament, and also we present our work and audit reports to the auditees, of course. It can be at the level of ministries, it can be at the level of professionals, and at the same time, since I think this is our basic role and also our ability to affect, by doing our work, the auditees and the public sector, we publish it to the public. We will focus today on issues of accessibility of our reports to both public and stakeholders. I think we do understand, all of us, that we are living in a time that presenting somebody with a 100-page report, which we worked very hard about it, is, I would say, less relevant for most of the people. Of course, there are the professionals that they receive the audit report, they want to follow up the recommendation, they want to fix the deficiencies. So for them, the full report will be relevant. I will share with you our experience in the State Audit Office of Israel, but also I will share some other European colleagues' ways that they handle this issue. Can you please pass to the next slide? As before entering, I would like to share with you the role of Israel's state controller. The first one is an independent oversight, and I do believe that we share the same values all over EUROSAI members. And then, which is unique, I also serve as the Ombudsman for Citizen Complaint. This is quite unique for our office, and we receive about 30,000 complaints from the public. And of course, we are issuing approximately 100 audit reports each year, mainly performance and compliance audit. I tell a lot my staff. In each report, our target is to have about 50 pages, up to 50 pages. Actually, each report is going in average to 100 pages, which means that probably I'm the only person all over the country that reads all the 100 reports with 100 pages. But usually I believe that most of the people, and especially the public, is focused on some very short messages from our report. I will go to the next slide. When I entered into the office, I looked about the way that we present our report. So just to look about the summary of the state audit report previously, you can see that the wording was very, very small and a lot of wording which is quite difficult to understand. So the first step was to move ahead and to have a much understandable and catching the eyes summary. In order to have the new way that the summary is presented, we looked on summaries from colleagues from other European countries before entering into our new report format, and I will share with you the new report format in our office. Can you please go to the next slide? You can see here that it is composed of, I would say, 3 areas. The first one is the key figures, a small background, and then entering into key figures. Many times, the key figures tells a story. For example, we had a report regarding taxation of crypto in Israel. We presented 2 figures. There are about 200,000 people that hold crypto. That's an estimation, but only 500 reported to our tax authorities. These 2 figures eventually are sharing with the audience, with the people, the story of the report, the lack of reporting to our tax authorities, and and because of that, of course, lack of collecting taxes from those population. You can see here that at the next 2 pages, we would focus on some key findings. Deficiency will be presented like this, and we have some very focused recommendation in that report 3, and also giving some other major graph or any picture that demonstrate to the reader the main ideas from the report. I do think that this report is more accessible to the public and can attract the more people to enter and to study what we wanted to deliver in our audit report and to make larger effects. I can share with you that many times when we sit with the public bodies, they are focusing a lot about what did we include in the summary of the report, because they do understand that the summary will be presented both to journalists, but also, of course, through journalists to the public. So we are very much focused on how we think and how we develop and we present our summary. I tell a lot my staff. Many times we work very hard about the audit report. Sometimes it's a year time of auditors to prepare the audit report. We should focus on specific and having enough time in order to write the summary in a way that the public will understand the main messages. I will go to the next slide, please. Beside the summary of the reports, we developed also some other tools, so our audit reports will be accessible to the public. It can be podcasts, it can be videos, it can be, of course, social networks, and eventually nowadays when we are printing or having some kind of a book of our report, eventually the book is composed only of the abstracts and it is being sent to all members of the parliament. If they want to get into specific report, they can enter our website and they will see the full report. But I do think, since we are auditors and our mission is to be voice, eye, and also mouth to our citizens. Our accountability is for them, and we should focus a lot on delivering our messages in a way that the people will understand us. This will affect, of course, the leaders of the country, because they understand, the people understanding what we want to deliver as part of our messages in the audit report, and the effect will be much larger. I can share with you that, for example, for 50% of our audit reports, we do have also some short videos. And for example, last year we reached, in our case, there are 10 million citizens in Israel. We had 8 million people looking into our videos, and also we send the journalists our videos, and whenever they put it in the website, they also, whenever they are reporting about our report, they also they are also presenting those short videos. Can I go to the next slide? And the power of the videos, from my perspective, is one of them is the accessibility, because videos make complex information in a way that it will suit wider audiences. There is also the visual story telling that a video can, of course, allow the people to understand. And of course, the videos are shareable across all social media platforms. And for that reason, it's very important to think the way that we are delivering our messages, not only in the traditional way. Please go ahead. Beside that, of course, we are focusing on being relevant in all relevant social media platforms, even in TikTok. And in some cases, we had, for example, a TikTok video on our report regarding issue of mental health. It was cited by 2 million people. In our case, 20% of the population have seen this video. And these are very nice figures and very important in make our work relevant for the public. Please go ahead. And I would like to demonstrate it by sharing with you a video regarding our national climate action. We know now that in Europe, many countries are suffering for high temperature, and the issue of climate is very relevant to many parts of the population. And for example, we shared this video as part of our audit report, and with not only with social media of our office, but also with other not-for-profit organizations that are engaged in the area of climate action. And then they shared our video with other audience. So it's a multiply, eventually, action that we use. Other also to share our videos with as large as population as we can have, and also you can measure the impact, because we know how many people entered into it. We can better receive a feedback from the people who were sharing those videos. I will go to the next slide, please. Here we will share with you now our short video about the national climate action by the government of Israel and an extended follow-up audit report. Please play the video.
The year 2023 was the hottest in history, and it's getting worse. The warming rate in our region is almost double the global rate, and we will all pay the price in health, in food, and energy shortages, and damage to infrastructure. In October 2021, the State Comptroller of Israel published a special report examining national climate action by the government of Israel. According to the Comptroller, 84% of public bodies had no plan for dealing with the risks, and the transition rate to renewable energy and reduction of greenhouse gas emissions ranged from lagging behind to zero. What has changed since then? The government issued statements, made decisions. However, when it comes to implementation, it procrastinates, and there isn't any government entity leading to change. The comptroller found that there is still no national preparedness plan for the climate crisis and that 82% of the examined public bodies are not prepared for it. In addition, the Climate Change Preparedness Administration in the Ministry of Environmental Protection lacks authority, and there is still no national calculation center enabling public bodies to prepare for climate scenarios. The government committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 27% by 2030, but instead, emissions increased by 1% in Israel from 2015 to 2022. No more ambitious goal for renewable energies has been presented. The electricity generation rate from renewable energies in 2030 is expected to reach only 19%, far from the initial target of 30%. Despite the government's decision, Israel did not cease and even increase the electricity generation by polluting coal utilization. Meanwhile, the comptroller found that the government encourages the demand for polluting fuels through tax incentives, 33-fold its investment in the climate area. Unlike Europe, Israel avoids imposing a carbon tax on certain fuels. When the European Union imposes such a tax on energy-intensive imported goods, Israeli exporters may be required to pay a carbon tax to the EU Treasury, potentially compromising their competitiveness. The climate crisis dramatically implicates the economy. Nevertheless, the Ministry of Finance refrains from leading policy and setting long-term goals. We have no time to waste. Not to endanger future generations, Israel should address the climate crisis today. Visit the State Comptroller's Office website for the full report.
So this was one example of a video. I can share with you that the audit had a very good effect on the government, and there were many steps that taken by our government in order to follow up the recommendation. One of them, of course, is the carbon tax that is implemented from there on, and other another that can be other things that were implemented. I will now go to the next slide, to the next example about a report we had about our national preparedness in the field of AI. You can see here that there were some critical findings. We had also a video solution, and there was a policy response by both the parliament but also by the Prime Minister office to this. I'm muted. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. I will share with you now the video about this, for example.
Hello, I am AI. I'm already here. But is Israel adequately prepared for me? There is room for improvement. In 2018, the Prime Minister launched the National Initiative aimed at positioning Israel among the top 5 countries globally in technology. In 2020, the Telem Committee, Israel's National Infrastructure Forum for Research and Development, published its recommendations to advance artificial intelligence in the country. And 2 years later, the National Program for Artificial Intelligence was launched. The State Controller assessed the progress made to date since the initiative was launched. To sum up, too little and too slow. Hundreds of experts who volunteered for the National Initiative developed a comprehensive plan to facilitate the integration of artificial intelligence into all aspects of life, with an estimated investment of approximately 10 billion shekels. However, the government approved a budget that amounted to only about a tenth of that sum. This amount was divided into 2 phases, but the implementation of even the first phase has not yet been fully achieved. The recommendations from the National Initiative and the Telem Committee have been only partially implemented. Furthermore, the National Program for Artificial Intelligence, devised by the previous administration, has not been implemented by the current one. Despite some achievements in the field of artificial intelligence, Israel still needs a long-term, detailed, and budgeted national strategy in this domain. As of the audit date, no minister or government ministry had assumed comprehensive responsibility for this matter. As an AI, I require supercomputers with high performance. The government recognized this need as early as 2020. However, the state controller noted that the computational infrastructure was inadequate. Have you heard of the artificial intelligence law? Neither have I. Unlike the European Union, Israel currently lacks legislation or regulations to safeguard against the misuse of artificial intelligence capabilities. Moreover, schools are not adequately prepared for the age of AI. In the meantime, Israel's position in international rankings related to artificial intelligence is declining. Indeed, the future is here, so let's ensure we're ready for it. The State Controller recommends that the Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology finalize the National Strategic Plan and ensure its implementation, enforce the government's resolution, and guide the administration's AI policy in collaboration with relevant stakeholders. Read the full report on the Office of the State Controller's website.
This report was very strongly adopted by our Prime Minister, and a lot of steps were taken. I will not get into it. I do think that once you are entering into this world of videos or other ways to demonstrate your findings, it's very important also to try to think from the views of the people that are watching these videos. So try to include in it some personal testimonies, or even try to create emotional collections to the technical findings, and this will assist you in delivering your messages. I will go, please, next slide. You can see here some of our other reports, and I would just mention, for example, about having an emotional video demonstrating our report regarding dealing with the phenomenon of spousal violence. We asked a lady that is quite well known in Israel, she was almost murdered by her husband, to demonstrate our findings, to participate in our video. And this lady, Shiro Isakov, she is quite a well-known lady and a very courageous one, and she presented our work in the video. So this is also a good idea once you are presenting your report to use somebody that is very well-known in your country. So please, let's go to the next slide. We will share it with you later on because with this video. So let's go on to the next slide, please. You can see here some other videos that we are presenting our reports. I can share with you, for example, the report regarding sport facilities was presenting one of our, he is quite an old age as today, but in Israel he's quite famous because he was the only soccer player that succeeded to score a goal in the Mondial for Israel. So he was demonstrating, etc., etc. And now I will just share with you one other idea that we are now developing and we eventually developed. In our website, we do have now a chatbot that any person can enter and ask any question. The chatbot in our website regarding any report that was published by the state auditors from, I believe, from 1950, because everything was uploaded, and you can use chatbot in order to navigate in our website in a better way. Next slide, please. Also, we were thinking about customized videos for children if we were doing reports like protecting children online, so it's relevant for the children. So we were also having in customized videos for them. Please go ahead. And I do very briefly share with you some EUROSAI initiatives. For example, the NAO, the UK National Audit Office, is working on improving report accessibility by uploading reports to mobile devices, because we know that most of the people now read through the mobile. So let's have our reports more relevant and more suitable for mobile devices. Let's go ahead. Or other, you can see from the NAO in their accessibility. Let's go, please, next slide. You can see here some other colleagues with their visibility in social media. Please, next slide. And once again, we should all bear in mind that behind each audit report there are people. We should give a voice to the voiceless, and I believe that by producing and making our reports accessible, this is part of our role, and it enables us to execute our role in a better way, in a more accountability way to the people. And I would like to thank all the audience for listening to my presentation, and we will go now to our distinguished panelists. We will share it with you, the panel, and then we will come back to answer any questions. So please share the panelist messages. Who do you consider to be the key stakeholders of your Supreme Audit institution, and how do you prioritize engagement with these different audiences?
Good morning, President Engelmann. Good morning, dear attendees. Thank you, Mr. President, for the honorary invitation to participate to this very interesting seminar. The Hellenic Court of Audit is the supreme audit institution and at the same time the Supreme Financial Court of Greece. In 2024, marking almost 200 years of its existence, for the first time ever, the HCA appointed a high-ranking judge as a spokesperson. Furthermore, it modified its internal rules to enhance and restructure the Communication and Public Relations Office. 1 year later, in 2025, the HCA adopted a communication strategy for the years to come. This strategy categorizes our stakeholders in two main tiers. These are based on how directly they are impacted by our work and their role in amplifying our message. 1. Primary audience. This group includes the general public and the civil servants. All citizens, regardless of background, must be informed about our role. This enhances democratic participation, accountability, and institutional trust. Public sector personnel are also prioritized. Disseminating directly our audit reports and jurisprudence encourages administrative compliance with our recommendations. 2. Secondary audience. This group includes journalists, media outlets, academic community. We consider the media to be vital messengers and public watchdogs. Our interaction with them is crucial for promoting transparency. Academics, as legal and financial experts, are essential for analyzing our reports and fostering a theoretical dialogue. It takes our work into broader public and academic discourse.
Dear Mr. Engelmann, dear colleagues, let me begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude for the invitation to this panel, greeting everyone present and wishing us all a pleasant and fruitful discussion. The stakeholders of the State Audit Office of Croatia include audited entities, the Croatian Parliament, the State Attorney's Office, other state authorities, the media, the general public, the academic community, and international institutions. We prioritize our engagement based on legal obligations and the specific role of each stakeholder. In that sense, audited entities and the Parliament are our primary stakeholders. At the same time, we place strong emphasis on maintaining timely and transparent communication with all other stakeholders, especially the media, as they play a key role in ensuring that our work reaches citizens and contributes to greater accountability.
Dear Chairman, thank you for your invitation and for organizing this interesting event. The accessibility of audit reports is indeed an important challenge for SAIS. For SAI Belgium, the key stakeholders are first and foremost the parliaments to which we report. Belgium is a federal state characterized by a complex multi-level governance and a high degree of decentralization. Both the federal state and the federated entities have their own parliamentary assemblies and executive governments, and each of them operates within a partly different legal framework. Our mandate spans all these levels. We therefore report to 6 different parliaments, each with their own political dynamics and procedures. Parliamentary engagement is central to our mandate and impact and essential for transparency, accountability, and follow-up. Over the last decades, a consistently visible dimension of our relationship with parliaments has been our role as budgetary advisor, which is a non-audit mission. We analyze draft budgets submitted by each government to its parliament, and these analyses feed directly into polarized and widely covered parliamentary deliberations and therefore receive significant attention. Our core business, of course, is financial, compliance, and performance auditing, which we plan entirely independently on the basis of objective criteria. We do not share our audit planning with the respective parliaments. However, in particular, in recent years, we have seen a steady increase in audit and other assignments requests from parliaments. And while such requests reflect trust in our institution and enhance our visibility, their processing has become a challenge. We aim to maintain a good balance between requests and our own audit planning. Timeliness remains another key factor in impact and engagement. If audit reports are finalized after the political debate has evolved, the window of opportunity for parliamentary action may narrow. We are therefore working to streamline our processes where possible and to consider innovative forms of reporting. A second category of stakeholders are the audited entities, the federal and regional governments and administrations we audit, and that are responsible for implementing our audit recommendations. As a SAI, we pay particular attention to the internal control and audit functions within these entities and to external auditors carrying out a specific mandate at those entities. We have been partnering with some of them under formal or informal single audit frameworks. And the third category of stakeholders are the media, academia, civil society organizations and citizens. And reaching these stakeholders, especially the citizens and the broader public, remains the biggest challenge. The media help to reach the broader public and ensure visibility and public debate.
Thank you very much. Now let's move to the next question. What is your institution's overall strategy for engaging with stakeholders and ensuring that audit findings reach and resonate with their intended audiences?
Thank you for this question. An essential objective of a SAI is to have impact. As EUROSAI Principle 12 on the value and benefits of SAIs makes clear, SAIs must demonstrate their relevance to citizens, Parliament and other stakeholders. In practice, this means ensuring that our audit reports actually influence administrations, governments, parliaments and society. In SAI Belgium's current strategic plan, two strategic goals are directly linked to that ambition. And the first one is to increase the impact of our audits by focusing on themes with significant societal relevance. It focuses on what we audit and communicate. And this starts with the selection of audit topics. We aim to choose themes that address major societal challenges and risks and focus on their budgetary implications. It is equally essential that our financial audit work remains of high quality and addresses major public governance issues. And societal relevance has long been a guiding principle for our institution. We have developed robust systems of monitoring, risk analysis and audit selection in line with international standards to identify relevant audit teams at each level of governance. And we aim to assure the quality of our audit and other core processes and to deliver high-quality outputs to our stakeholders. We do this through systematically complying with the ESAIs in our audit work and with ESAI-based budget analysis guidance we developed ourselves, but also through an ISO 9001-based overall quality management policy system and external certification for all our core processes. Many of the most pressing challenges, climate transition, demographic change, public health resilience, digital transformation, cut across policy domains and levels of government. As one of the few Belgian institutions in size of federal countries with a mandate covering federal and federated levels, we are uniquely positioned to conduct transversal, cross-cutting audits. We can also examine a single issue from multiple angles: performance, legality, and budgetary impact. A second strategic objective is to increase SAI's Belgium visibility, and this focuses on how we communicate our audit findings. We want our reports to be read, understood, and used by parliamentarians, ministers, administrations, journalists, and the wider interested public. And we believe that the combination of texts and visuals improves both understanding and retention. We monitor and communicate on the extent to which our reports are being discussed in Parliament. And especially for the Flemish Parliament, for example, we organize a survey among the members of Parliament in the middle of each legislative term to understand how they read our audit reports, which sections are consulted most frequently, and so on. And this provides us with valuable insights to tailor the structure and format of our reports as closely as possible to their needs and preferences. Next to that, we also monitor the extent to which our audit recommendations have been implemented by the executive branch of government through a specific tool on our website, on which I will come back later on.
The State Audit Office has a communication strategy based on transparency, timely reporting, and making our work accessible to everyone. Our main goal is to ensure that audit findings are clear, understandable, are relevant to all stakeholder groups. In practice, this means making our reports and key information easily available through our official website, using clear and simple language and relying, wherever possible, on visual tools to improve understanding. We also place strong emphasis on high-quality communication with media. We organize briefings for media, respond promptly to their inquiries, and are available whenever needed. In addition, according to our strategy, we will engage more on social media and other digital channels, organize events for different stakeholders groups, share information through newsletters, and collect feedback through website surveys and other tools. We believe all these activities will make our work more visible, accessible, and meaningful to the public.
Our strategy is built on the principles of clarity, speed, coherence, and transparency. We aim to translate complex financial and legal findings into accessible, jargon-free language. Citizens of all educational backgrounds can grasp our impact. Essentially, we recognize that effective external communication requires robust internal alignment. We run an internal awareness campaign. Every judge, every auditor is a potential ambassador for the institution. By fostering a culture where internal information flows seamlessly to our Communication and Public Relations Office, we ensure that the messages reaching our audiences are accurate and objective.
What tools, channels, and practices have proven most effective in strengthening and maintaining relationships with stakeholders, particularly with the general public? For example, the use of executive summaries, visual and digital communication tools, social media, public outreach initiatives, or engagement with parliamentary and non-parliamentary bodies.
The general public perceives our work through two main aspects: the information contained in our audit reports and the way those reports are presented. One of our most effective tools is publishing audit reports and all relevant information on our official website. We also use infographics and visual presentations whenever possible, and we prepare summaries and consolidated reports to make our findings easier to understand. Our annual report on work, together with individual audit reports, is presented and discussed in the Croatian Parliament. These sessions are broadcast live, which allows the results of our work to be directly communicated to the general public. In this way, parliamentary discussions serve as an important channel for ensuring transparency and making our findings accessible to all interested parties.
Several tools and practices have proven useful to increase impact with our stakeholders. First, we invest strongly in clear and accessible reporting. And each audit report starts with a one-page overview presenting the key figures and core message. And the aim is to make the essence of our findings immediately understandable while remaining accurate and nuanced. Second, we use more visual communication. Our reports now include icons, color coding, infographics, and explanatory graphics. We have recruited graphic designers to support this work. And third, we have dedicated publication units involved throughout the reporting process as partners of the audit teams. And from the draft stage on, a linguist and a graphic designer review and discuss the report in progress for clarity, structure, consistency, and readability. Once the report has been finalized and published, we aim to be trusted and visible partners for the parliaments we serve first and foremost. Presenting our reports in parliamentary committees and answering questions on them from members of parliament is an essential and an effective channel in our external communication, including towards the general public. Moreover, under my assigned rules of procedure, federal and regional members of parliament have a right to access to the files of completed audits within the remit of their respective parliament. Finally, we focus more systematically on the external communication of audit follow-up results. Our audit reports usually contain recommendations, and those recommendations provide a natural basis for measuring impact. Transparent reporting on our implementation creates pressure when progress is insufficient, while positive follow-up results also recognize good performance and support a constructive relation with the auditee. The performance audit principles set out in EUROSAI 300 likewise underlines the importance of reporting follow-up to the legislator.
To meet our audiences where they are, we have diversified our toolkit. We have incorporated visual and digital media alongside traditional outreach. Firstly, digital and visual content. We produce infographics to visually summarize key points from audit reports and judgments. We also introduced short explanatory videos and vodcasts just to break down complex concepts like our audit methodology or historical impact of our institution. Each report has a standard outlook that makes it easy to read. In addition to infographics, it includes executive summaries and call-out boxes. Secondly, social media. Recognizing that over 68% of the Greek population uses social media, we became content creators in order to maintain a tailored presence across Facebook for broad reach, LinkedIn for professional and academics, X-Twitter for real-time updates, Instagram for visual engagement, particularly with youth, and YouTube. Thirdly, public and academic outreach. We actively combat institutional introversion through open days and career days. Schools, universities, and citizens can visit the HCA to understand our processes. Furthermore, we organize joint seminars and lectures with universities. We offer internship programs. we have instituted a Best Scientific Paper Award in Financial Law to engage young researchers.
Thank you for your inspiring answer. Now, let's move to the next question. Could you share your experience in working with the media? How does your institution engage with journalists and media organizations to communicate audit findings and promote public awareness?
Our engagement with the media is structured, respectful, and highly professional. To streamline interactions and avoid fragmented messaging, individual judges and staff do not speak directly to the press. All information is channeled exclusively through our spokesperson and the communication office. A cornerstone of our media relations is our formal journalist accreditation system. Accredited journalists receive priority access to press releases, anonymized privacy-safe judgments, and invitations to public sessions or press conferences. We provide them with clear, well-written press releases that answer the fundamental questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how, immediately after their carrying out. We also actively monitor media coverage on a daily basis to swiftly correct any misinformation and defend the court's prestige.
Our communication with media includes timely responses to their requests, organized briefings several times a year, issuing press releases and appearing on TV and radio programs when requested. On the day we submit our reports to the Parliament, we also publish them on our website and organize a briefing for media representatives. The purpose of these briefings is to present the most important audit findings, provide additional context about our work, and reduce the risk of misinterpretation. At the same time, we publish detailed press release to ensure clarity and consistency in communication. Let me emphasize that these regular briefings with the journalists were recognized as an example of good and well-accepted practice. Why is that so? Because it is more informal. There are no cameras and microphones. It is more educational. Journalists are advised on how to read the reports and where to find relevant information. There is a two-way communication, and journalists can ask questions at any time. As a result of such approach, we notice better media presence, less misinformation and wrong conclusion, and communication in real time, which means that media are informed about the report the same day as stakeholders. It is also worth to mention that we monitor media coverage of the State Audit Office on a daily basis. On average, there are around 900 media posts about our work each year, with more than 99% being positive.
Thank you for the question. At the part of audit, we see the media as an important partner in reaching citizens and contributing to informed public debate. High-quality audits only achieve their full impact if their findings are widely understood and accessible. And that's why we place great importance on communicating our work in a clear and a structured way. Whenever we publish an audit report, we issue a press release that highlights the key message in a concise and accessible manner. We pay particular attention to clarity, structure, and readability so that journalists can easily understand the main findings and report on them accurately. Journalists are also able to contact us with questions following publication. And in these exchanges, we are guided by a few important principles. First, we strictly limit ourselves to the information contained in our published reports. Our role is not to introduce new elements, but to clarify the scope and meaning of what already has been published. And in doing so, we aim to prevent misunderstandings and to ensure that public debate is based on a correct interpretation of our findings. This approach helps us maintain objectivity, reliability, and balance in our communication. In practical terms, we have developed targeted ways of working with the media. For some reports, we apply an embargo system where the main national press agency receives the report 2 days in advance. This allows them to prepare coverage and publish it on the day of release. And we have seen that this significantly increases media attention and improves the quality of reporting. We are currently considering extending this approach to all of our reports. And at the same time, we take a cautious approach in our interactions with journalists and the media, and even more so when it comes to social media. This reflects our commitment to independence, neutrality, and credibility. However, within our strategic objective to increase SAI Belgium's visibility, one of the operational objectives is to ensure that interested journalists are informed quickly about our reports and know exactly whom to contact for further information. And to support this, a dedicated project group is currently working on proposals to strengthen our communication with journalists and media organizations, including how we might use social media more effectively while fully respecting our institutional role and independence. The aim is to become more visible and accessible without compromising the principles that underpin our work.
Have there been any recent developments or innovations in your institution's website or digital platforms aimed at improving the accessibility and usability of audit reports?
There have indeed been recent developments in SAI Belgium's website and digital platforms in this area. A key recent development is the launch in 2023 of a new web page which we call the Monitor. This platform allows users to search our audit recommendations by level of government or policy area. And it also shows Belgium's assessment of the implementation status of recommendations ranging from no action taken to fully implemented. And this is important because many audit reports contain recommendations, and follow-up is a natural way to measure impact. Transparent reporting on implementation creates pressure when progress is limited, but it also recognizes positive results when administrations make progress. And in this way, this monitor makes the impact of our work more accessible, more transparent, and more measurable for parliaments, auditees, and the wider public. Also recently, SAI Belgium website has been completely revamped in order to make the information more accessible to our various stakeholders through clear and more insightful explanation of our different missions, a clear and more attractive website layout, a more dynamic overview of relevant and topical information, and also improved search functions for users.
We consider our website to be our primary modern tool for transparency. Recently, we modernized our website, introducing optimizations. We focus on user-friendliness and real-time updates. Our website has a dedicated space for citizens where they can report instances of public financial mismanagement. Every significant judgment is immediately posted. A designated space for all our audit reports and their supporting press kit is scheduled and is always available. Furthermore, our annual report and annual audit program are now accompanied by rich multimedia elements upon being uploaded. Instead of merely hosting dense PDF files, the website features embedded videos, infographics, and direct hyperlinks. We also utilize our website to host a dedicated subscription portal for our new quarterly newsletter.
Our official website provides access to all audit reports, key documents, and relevant information about the work of the State Audit Office of Croatia. In recent years, we have introduced visual content such as infographics to make our report easier to understand, especially in high-impact areas like performance audits. By the end of this year, we plan to redesign our website to further improve accessibility and usability. We will also introduce online surveys to gather feedback from the general public and better understand their expectations. In addition, we are developing a secure interface that will allow all interested parties to submit information about potential irregularities and audited entities. All these improvements are aimed at making our work more transparent, accessible, and responsive to the needs of the public.
Based on your experience, what are the most important measures that supreme audit institutions can take to enhance public confidence and trust in their work and in public oversight more broadly?
We expected communication to become increasingly digital and more interactive. There will be greater use of visual tools, more direct engagement with stakeholders, and stronger two-way communication. We are aware that we need to keep pace with the evolving communication trend in order to reach our stakeholders on the platforms and devices they use every day. At the same time, our main goal remains the same: to strengthen public trust by ensuring greater transparency and easier access to our audit findings.
Thanks for this question. I believe stakeholder engagement will become even more important in the coming years. Sites will need to communicate not only with parliaments, ministers, and administrations, but also more directly with citizens, civil society, academia, and the media. Public expectations around transparency, accountability, and the use of public funds are increasing, especially at a time when there are increased demands for public services, but also rising budget deficits of governments. And at the same time, site communication must remain accurate and evidence-based. And the challenge is to make audit findings accessible without oversimplifying them. For SAI Belgium, this means continuing to invest in shorter reports, focusing on what our target audiences need to know through clear language, visual communication, and follow-up reporting. It also means selecting audit topics that are clearly relevant to society and explaining why they matter. And strengthening public trust in science is not the ultimate goal in itself, I believe. Science should be an actor in improving public governance and hence strengthening trust in public governance. Through their work, they can raise awareness among politicians, administrations, and citizens of the value of evidence-based and objective policy setting and of correct, efficient and effective policy execution. And in the coming years, artificial intelligence will even more impact our work process, but also the way our products will be used and perceived by different stakeholders, and hence the way we as SAI will be perceived. And we will therefore need to adapt continuously and proactively to these new developments, including in our stakeholder engagement and public communication. And in this regard, it will remain more useful than ever to exchange information and best practices internationally among SAIs on how to deal with these new developments.
Looking ahead, stakeholder engagement must become increasingly data-driven and agile to maintain public trust. We plan to continuously assess our impact using web analytics and social media metrics to refine our strategies annually. The future of communication for SAIs relies on engaging the younger generation. This means adapting to platforms where attention spans are shorter without compromising the gravity of our findings. Additionally, we foresee deeper integration with international peer networks to exchange best practices.
Finally, looking ahead, how do you see stakeholder engagement and public communication evolving in the coming years, particularly in the context of strengthening public trust in supreme audit institutions?
Based on our strategic overhaul, the most critical measures an SAI can take to build public oversight and trust include: firstly, radical clarity, abandoning exclusionary legal and financial jargon in public summaries. The citizens truly understand how public funds are managed. Secondly, open door policies, demystifying the institution by literally opening our doors to the public and schools. The image of an isolated court is replaced with that of an accessible, functioning pillar of democracy. Thirdly, theoretical scrutiny. A judge or an auditor who does not converse with the academic community deprives the institution of creative criticism and global resonance. Fourthly, proactive relevance. Linking our audit work to current global issues such as climate change, human rights, or gender equality during relevant international awareness days, the SAI is attuned to modern social challenges. Thank you for your attention.
Our experience is that trust here is built on independence, objectivity, and transparency. In line with that, the key measures include independent, objective, and timely reporting, as well as clear communication of our findings and recommendations. It is equally important to monitor the implementation and ensure that information is transparent and accessible to all stakeholders. Active communication with the media and the general public further strengthens understanding of the role and importance of audit in public oversight.
In my view, there are several measures that SAIs can take to enhance public trust in their work and in public oversight. First, SAIs must remain independent, objective, and evidence-based. Public trust depends on our independence and perceived independence and the impartiality and credibility of our work. Second, SAIs should choose audit topics that are relevant to society and address real public concerns. It is equally essential that their financial audit work remains a cornerstone of public oversight, and this helps demonstrate their value to citizens, Parliament and other stakeholders. Third, reports must be clear, well-structured and accessible. If our audiences cannot understand and use our findings, our impact will be limited. Fourth, sites should report transparently on their follow-up of the implementation of audit recommendations by the auditee. This shows whether audit work leads to concrete improvements in public governance. And finally, external communication should be seen as an integral part of the auditing and the audit impact process, not as something isolated and added at the end. And at SAI Belgium, involving communication specialists, linguists and graphic designers early in the reporting process, helps ensure that our messages are clear, coherent and useful.
Thank you, Ms. Hilde Francois, Senior President of the Belgian Court of Audit. Thank you, Mr. Ivan Klecic, Auditor General of the Republic of Croatia. Thank you, Ms. Soteria Natuni, President of the Hellenic Court of Audit. We are very thankful for all our panelist members. If there are any questions, please, you can. Okay, so I will thank all the participants and of course the distinguished panelists from SAI Belgium, the Hellenic Court of Audit and SAI Croatia. All of you are mostly welcome to send any question later on. Yes, of course, I've seen a question, so I would answer, yes, we will share with you the copy of the presentation and also the videos from our side, but if any of the distinguished panelists and member would like also to share some other information, it will be shared to all participants in this online session. Okay, the question is, are SAIs well known to the general public? How can they improve this? So maybe I will turn the question to one of the colleagues. Please just, if you can open your also your camera.
I think it's a very good question because I think communication with civil society and with the wider public is very, very important. And it's indeed a challenge not only to make the institution more visible, but also to explain clearly what we are and what we are not. And I would say that SAI, such as the Court of Audit, are much better known among parliamentarians, public officials and journalists, but than among the general public. And indeed, a few years ago, there has been a major Belgian newspaper published with under the headline, Best Performance Public Institutions Nobody Knows. And I think this headline says it all. We should make clear that we are known to the public, that they know exactly whom we are and what we do. And many people mistakenly believe that the Court of Audit is part of the Ministry of Finance, responsible for tax collection, involved in deciding how public money is spent, whereas we are in fact an independent institution working for Parliament, an external auditor of government finances, performance and accountability. Another frequently misconception is that we evaluate policies before political decisions are taken, but in reality, our work is mainly ex post. And therefore, I think it's very important to explain to the citizens, to the wider public, what a Court of Audit stands for and what is our added value. So this is something I wanted to share with the audience.
What internal measures, if any, have you taken to help staff strike the right balance between producing concise, readable, and please go ahead with the question, reports and ensuring adequate transparency and completeness regarding the work performed and the findings identified? Is there any panelists that would like to relate to and to answer this question? I will try to answer this question. And I do think that there are internal steps and, of course, quality control processes that we can, as auditors, should set up regarding the way that we are making our report more accessible to the public. I would also raise that nowadays we can use, in a very friendly way, AI tools, both for assisting us in delivering our messages and also for our quality control processes, to see whether the way that we are presenting our work is quite or is good enough for public and is well understood. So I do think we can use, especially for those AI tools, also for developing, as I mentioned in my presentation, the issues of videos or other tools. AI tools can be very good and magnificent to being used, and especially we can also try to define special ways or ways to present our findings and work to different audiences by, once again, using AI tools. We can ask them, if I'm going to present a report to a committee that is composed of this and this member in the parliament, what are their area of interest? What should we mention maybe more? Or if I go to the public, if I want to share it with young people, what should I do better? But once again, I do agree, as mentioned by the panelists, that of course we should stick with our messages to the full report, to the way that we conducted the audit, and to the findings that were written after a very close quality control that was implemented in our office. By using those tools, we can assist ourselves to enlarge the population that is exposed in a better way to our findings, but we should keep on with our messages as presented in our audit reports. So I believe we are getting to the end of this session, and I would like to thank the distinguished panelists, but please, if you want to add something, do you want to add? Yes, please.
If I may, I think it's a very interesting question. I also think it's important that we are using communicating specialists from early on in the audit process. This is essential, and that we don't see them just as an additional layer at the end. So I think communication always is a very important impact, and we should use the experts also with respect to this matter.
Thank you very much. Psychoetia, did you want to add something, please?
Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation on this panel. Mr. Kresic is apologizing because he had some other obligation. I think that this topics is very important for all state audit institutions, and how we can present our results of audit results. It is very important because independent of that, publics have opportunities to increase their trust in state audit institutions. A question which we can see on the monitor related to how to make balance between short or bigger findings is a very crucial questions. And I think that audit teams have very bright what they find and what message they have to send to stakeholders. And I hope that in that process, communication with the Parliament has a very crucial role, because if Parliament adopt our findings or our report with a very big percentage of voting, is a second second way how to give our reports credibility and trust reported for stakeholders. Thank you for attention and again for invitation.
Please go ahead. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If I just may add something to this reflection. At SAI Belgium, we conduct a survey among members of the Flemish Parliament halfway through each legislative term to better understand how they use our reports, which sections they consult, what information they find most valuable. And the objective of this survey is to gain a deeper understanding of how parliamentarians read and use our reports, and how, and this is also very important, we can make our reports more accessible and useful for their parliamentary work. And this insight helps us to adapt the structure, the presentation, and the readability of our reports to the needs of and expectations of our users. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank once again all the distinguished panelists. I do believe that this subject is relevant to all of us because we have to see that our materials are more accessible to the stakeholders, either in Parliament. We will close this online session. All participants, and I do believe this is a major issue that we can study from each other. We had a very fruitful discussion and very open discussion with the challenges, with opportunities, with also solutions that are adopted by the members that participate in this panel. And we look forward to cooperation within EUROSAI. We should study, we can study from each other, and I would like to thank all participants and have a nice day and all the best to all of you. Thank you very much for everybody. And of course, we will share all the materials with you. If there are any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We will send them to the relevant panelists and will answer. So have a nice day and thank you very much.
Thank you very much.